guys, it's me, Dr. Torie. My book is officially out. And yes, it is time to talk about ACEs. You guys can find the books everywhere. However, I would encourage you guys to go to my website, VicTORIEus.com, and place your order today. Yes, it's time to talk about ACEs. Let's go, y'all.
Hello, hello, you guys. It's me, Dr. Torie, coming back with another episode of Be Victorious. Now, listen, it's been a minute since I've actually been on here. Of course, I'm extremely excited about our conference that's coming up April 23rd through the 25th, the Doubletree Hilton, Chicago in Alsip, Illinois. We are coming. There are going to be authors. There's going to be therapists. There are going to be social workers. There's going to be educators. There are going to be coaches. There's going to be doctors. There's going to be lawyers. There's going to be parents. There's going to be so many people here at this conference. We're extremely excited to bring awareness, community, and empowerment to the community. Now, listen, there's been a lot going on since we have, new officers that are in office. And I actually am excited about the conference, but a bit worried about what's going on in today's society. I did a live and we were having a conversation, and I love when people come and bring resources. And when they brought the resources that they brought, guess what? The CDC actually has been impacted. Surprise, surprise. Not just people that are going through the different, health issues and medical issues, but the new officers coming to defund everything. I think it's worth a discussion. What do you think, Marv?
You forgot to mention that I'll also be there at the conference as well. So just so we had that in there. But how you doing, Dr. Torie?
So are you saying that Be Victorious podcast is going to be there too?
Yes, the Be Victorious podcast will be in the building. We'll do some live interviews and talking to people. So we'll definitely be live on the scene and talking to all the special people that are there. So make sure that we want you in the place to be, but also, if you can't be in the place to be, we'll obviously have videos and a lot of recaps and everything to show you what's happening at this awesome event. So make sure you register now.
Really, because again, I am so excited just about the fact that it's a conversation that needs to be had. Now, what do you think about what's going on? I'll be honest, I have to shout out your podcast because you actually had this conversation really with the new officers in office on your podcast. So that kind of made me bring it up and want to bring you on. It's been a minute since it's been me and you having this conversation. So,
Yeah. So the new administration, they have been causing havoc with a lot of things that they are trying to do. And, we're a podcast that talks about people's mental health, their well-being. And I know for a lot of people, the news that we see daily coming from this new administration, it's stressful. And I've seen people say, hey, listen, I need to protect my peace. And they are, I don't want to say turning a blind eye, but they are choosing to be very diligent about what they pay attention to. And I saw something on social media where this is a strategy from those who are on that side. It is to overwhelm you. It is to get you to where you just say, listen, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to look at anything, because when that
right.
happens, then things begin to slip through the cracks.
Mhm.
So we have to be diligent. We have to, yes, turn off when it's time, but also be able to make sure that we pay attention to things that are going to affect us. Now, we're a podcast that talks about adverse childhood experiences, and you've mentioned it several times that that's on the CDC website, which is something that this administration has decided that is not important, and they want to control that information or whatever motive they have for that. The information that people have been able to glean, meaning us as, regular American citizens,
Right.
or doctors looking for guidance. All that has been removed or wiped. I'm not sure. I haven't been to the website, but I understand that if it hasn't happened, it will be happening. So, a lot of that, the powerful information that you have done, the research that you have done, that we know that the CDC has, had their eyes on and used to adjust what they put on there, is gone away now, or will be going away. Now, I know
Mhm.
that there's some organizations like the American Medical Association, it's the Medical Association for Black Doctors. They are doing daily updates on
Mhm.
their YouTube to make sure that people are given the knowledge that they need to be given. And honestly, Dr. Torie, I think, we ought to reach out to them and they need to talk to you about this because to me, you have been at the forefront of making sure that this is brought to the light, and you have increased awareness for so many people about this because every day I see something on social media or I see something in the news where I say that's ACEs and
Yep.
we need to address it. So there's hope, people. We don't want folks to become hopeless because when you become hopeless, then it's just nothing else left to do. But
Right.
we're still in the fight, and Dr. Torie is doing her best, not only with this conference, but with this podcast and with her daily posts on her social media to make sure people don't forget about ACEs and how it affects us.
I think what it is people are starting to realize that we're reverting back. Because when you think about it, the beginning of COVID, who was the president at that time?
It was 45 who is now 47. Yeah, we won't
Ooh.
say his name. So yeah.
Ooh. And the reality of the situation is it had an impact on everybody. It wouldn't matter what color you was, red or blue, black or white, in or out. We were all shut down.
Mhm.
And you're meaning to tell me that that's exactly what's happening again?
And, and the fact of the matter is that this is ACEs should be a bipartisan topic. It
Mhm.
really is.
I
Um,
agree.
when you look at the number of, we'll just say, red states who voted for the current administration, and you look at the population, a lot of those red states, I mean, they're people who come from impoverished conditions.
Mhm.
And, we've talked about it that a lot of times poverty, lack of resources,
Mhm.
it leads to a lot of the factors that creates ACEs.
Right.
So by turning a blind eye to this, by shutting it down, by not giving information, not making the information available to people, it's hurting everybody. And it's not just people who are in blue states, it's not just people in red states, it affects all of us.
I
So
agree.
it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. And that's what we're doing right now.
And I am excited about the conference because we get that opportunity.
Right.
I think it's more than a conference. I think it's not just awareness, seriously, just the people that we have already. You know what I mean? Like, I'll give you an example. What I love about Dr. Adrienne Faulkner White is she works for the Department of Rehabilitation and Youth Services. So let's be clear, she's right on the forefront. She's right there. She's right there. I remember talking to her in regards to the conference, and her giving the approval was humbling to me, but she was there, and it was around the time that they were doing the inauguration. She was there, and she was like, hey, that's her place of employment, that's where she works at the time, but she has a job that she has to do, and luckily we have her as someone that is going to come to the conference and have that conversation and advocate for what we know and what we believe in. So grateful for those type of opportunities. But what do you think about the ones, if they're cutting off letting people know about updates? How are we going to get this information? Because I'll tell you, I haven't hid from anyone. It's kind of like shocking to me that all of this stuff is really happening again. So I've reverted back off of social media because of this. But we have a conference that we have to promote. So, what do you think about that for people that have ACEs that can't get used to that media? What do you think? Can we get this information out there?
So, and I talked about on my podcast, the Man Listen Show, how, you know, we are really going to have to put a focus on local
Hmm.
government, community activism, and that's where you play a part in that in terms of doing this podcast,
Hmm.
doing the lunch and learns that you do, doing, the conference that you're putting together, all the interviews that you do, everything that you're putting out there. This is going to be a resource for people who can't get it from their government. Now, there's some danger in that, right? Because we know that you have all good intentions, but there could be some people that are putting information out there that could be misguided, right? And that's why we have the government to try to make sure that information is vetted and things are put out that aren't going to be misinformation. But
Hmm.
I would say that we need to we can't get discouraged. That's one thing
Right.
we cannot do. For each one of us, we have our own mission, right? We have our own ministry. And I've
Hmm.
always said ACES has been your ministry. It's your
Yes.
ministry, it's your baby. So if it's somebody out here who is an ambassador for ACES or somebody who wants to carry that torch because Dr. Torie can't do it all,
Hmm.
obviously, I would say that you need to be able to speak up to your local officials, speak to your state representatives, speak to your city officials, and say, hey, listen, this is something that needs to be addressed. How can we bring this to the forefront for our community? How can we
Right.
get funding so that we can, get this information out to people that need it, to the schools, because they're attacking all types of messaging that is being sent to our students, right? You can't talk about certain cultures. You can't teach about certain things because they want to be able to change the history, right? They don't want to make people feel bad. But like we said, this is a bipartisan thing. This is
Yep.
something that affects people who are black, white, whatever.
Hmm.
And if we can't talk about this, protecting our children, making better adults, then we're really in trouble. So absolutely, I think this is something that we need to turn to something local and continue to go from there.
And we can do that. I think for the issue, honestly, is the fact that we have, and this is me, what I've ran to within the conference is you have a lot of people out there, a lot of people that want to advocate, that can't advocate, or don't know how to advocate. I'll give you an example. There have been a lot of people that have been interested in the conference, but everybody's not really ready to have that conversation. And we've had to let people know that no, you can't speak because you can't. Like, I'll give you an example. Everybody's not ready for a speaking engagement or a speaking opportunity because you can't spill the wrong information out there. And I think people confuse opinion with expertise.
Right.
And I say that to say, when you're dealing with a conversation, especially when you're dealing with a conversation in regards to ACEs, the information is out there, but the message has to be that. So I'm trying to say it as honest as I can. Everybody's not ready to deliver the message because they don't know what they're talking about. And
Yeah, I
I'm
mean, and there's people who could be advocates. There's people that can talk about, that could be advocates. There are people that could talk about, hey, how this is impacting me. And that's probably, better for one-off discussions. But
Mhm.
to be able to give somebody a platform who isn't ready to necessarily talk about these things, I think it would be detrimental to the people who are coming to the conference or just coming to any type of discussion and to just allow that that type of information to go out. I mean, you can't just get in front of anywhere, in front of any organization, any type of mission without some type of training on how to speak to folks. And because what happens if you just spill out all the adversity that you went through, but
Hmm.
then you're not able to also connect the dots on how you use this, you recognized it, and then you built from there. You always say your score doesn't define you. And I saw this woman on social media. She's been making the rounds lately because she's put out some pretty provocative Instagram reels, and maybe we can get her on the show. But her name,
Yeah.
she's a certified therapist. Her name is Raquel Hopkins, and she talks about some of the toxic things that have been happening with mental health lately. And one of the things that she talked about is she talked about how people are using the labels that they have in terms of like, oh, this is my attachment style, or I have ADHD, and they're using that to define themselves and as their brand. Like, hi, I'm Marvin and I have aces.
Hmm.
And no, that's not what it is, right? It's supposed to be, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, and then this is what I need to address to be a better person,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, and there's a level of healing that you need to have gone through before you can really talk to people about that. Because otherwise, you're just spilling your trauma on folks, and it's not really beneficial to anybody. It may be beneficial to you because you're getting off your chest, but
Right.
more than likely, what's happening. And I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to my homegirl, Dr. Christina Slaughter Jones. What you're doing is you're just sprinkling your trauma dust on everybody, and that trauma dust may trigger someone else, and it may make somebody else like, I don't want to hear that stuff no more. So yeah, we definitely have to be careful about who we give a platform to.
I'm just saying because it's hard. I I think for me because I'm on social media now, I notice it a lot more. I'm not numbers driven, whereas somebody can have 30 plus likes or 30,000 K likes and they're on there. This was not my life from the beginning. Not to say that it needs to be now, but in order to get the message out, it's a great thing. But people need to understand this conference is seriously awareness, not an opportunity for you to gain likes. And I think that is what I've ran into. And so you have a committee, you have a board, you have all of these people that are looking, and it's hard to kind of determine. But because I'm an educator, because I'm a doctor, it's easy to determine. Ladies and gentlemen, Chat GPT is real, but it's so common and everybody is using it, and you can't just fill in answers. I use it too, let's be clear, and think that that's going to be your reason. People are going to research you. I think the fun thing about it, when giving my information to Dr. Nadine Burke Harris crew, is they looked for it. They were ready. They was like, yeah, we did our research on you already. So understand people when you all are requesting that information in regards to conferences and speaking engagements and things like that. I'm a researcher and it may get past the planning committee, it may get past the board, but when it gets to me, trust and believe this is my livelihood. Be Victorious Foundation is something that I have been planning and dreaming about for years. So, with it being a conference that is sponsored by Be Victorious Foundation that is heavy on mentorship, understand this is people's livelihoods out here. We're really here to have the conversation about ACEs. And we cannot have people that don't have that in mind. So I think that's what it is. I thank everybody for having the patience, but when it comes time for the speakers, understand these are people that know about ACEs. These are people that are ready to have the conversation. They're ready to pour out into the community. I'll give a shout out since you gave shouts out. I'll do that. I met a young lady that is getting her doctorate degree in May
Mhm.
from Governor State. Her name is Megan Sims. Oh, baby. When I talked to her today, she poured into me so quick, you'll definitely have to meet her. She's not only getting her master's degree, but she's using her ACEs. And she shouted it out. She said, oh, and by the way, my ACEs score is an 8. We're going to meet her. I'm excited that we're bringing the podcast back because that's one opportunity that we can actually have where we're sitting and having a conversation with someone that is actually making an impact in the Chicagoland community, because that's exactly what she's doing. So surprise, surprise, you guys, there are going to be people that are already making an impact that are going to be at this conference. We actually have a health and wellness expo where there's going to be plenty of vendors. And no, I'm not talking about the people that make purses. I'm talking about people that are going to be there to talk about health and wellness.
No shade
It's
to the people that make purses, but this not that type of.
yeah. I mean, you're going to just be sitting there. I mean, I want those people to come and I want them to get involved, but I also want people to know there's different types of therapy that's available and that's out there, that nothing's wrong with therapy. So there's going to be different types of resources that are going to be available for people. That's the great thing about a health and wellness expo. It's the awareness that we're interested in doing in the community. So that's what I would say in regards to updates and things that are going on and the impact that is happening in 2025. We need this conference. We need a huge space where we can have this conversation about what's going on in today's society. And if it's already 2025 and we're going through this, we got 4 years.
Yeah.
Well,
So, first of all, shout out to you for being diligent and for guarding the door.
thank you.
So what people should take from what she just said is, when you register for this conference, when you show up, trust and believe that the people that are going to be giving you information have been thoroughly vetted.
Mhm.
And they're going to be on point. And we're also going to have vendors who are going to be able to give resources to you because we want to make sure that people leave better than how they arrived. Now, we
Yeah.
can't fix your problems, right? But
Nope.
hopefully we can give you we can connect you to resources, connect you to people who can help you start that path to healing and to addressing your ACEs and your mental health.
Very good. And with that, I will say we have a wonderful conference plan for you guys. So go ahead. Everything's available. You can go to bevictorious.com. We also have a community on Mighty Networks. You guys can find those valuable resources there. We're going to continue to make announcements of people. We're going to continue to talk about the conference. We're going to continue to do a lot of things. Again, the conference is April 23rd through the 25th in Chicago. It's at the Doubletree Hilton in Alsip. We look forward to you guys coming. Any questions or concerns, again, see us, bevictorious.com. With that being said, Marv, do you have anything you want to add or anything that you want to
I
share?
mean, that's it. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at the conference. I'm looking forward to seeing more people, step forward to be on the podcast, so we continue to, continue this mission that we started. Make sure you go to my social media, go to @ManListensShow on Instagram and Facebook, and you can also follow us on YouTube. Click that bell icon so you can be notified of, when we put out new episodes. We talk about current topics and ACEs has come up a lot on the show because obviously, I helped Dr. Torie put this show out there. But, when we talk about things that impact the Black community, and my show talks about issues that affect the Black community, a lot of that either deals with ACEs or the root cause is ACEs. So you're going to see a lot of information, that I've learned from this show on my show, the Man Listen Show. So we look forward just to seeing you all. And make sure you click that bell icon for Be Victorious here on
Yes,
YouTube so you can be notified when we come out with a new episode. And that's it. We're gonna see you in Chicago. It's cold right now, but hopefully April it should be a little bit warm.
we're
So
gonna bring that
well,
weather.
it's kind of tricky in Chicago, but come on through. Just bring your coat just in case, and we'll be all right.
All right, you guys, take care. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye bye, you guys.